Funko. Must be French.
Jen, you don't have to lean so close to the mic. I said that in like the other video too. I think you heard that.
I did.
Funny.
I made a strong effort to ignore what you said.
Wow. Great.
Welcome to the final countdown. We're gonna fight here. Ow.
Does that hurt?
Yes, it does. We are going to fight between Funko and just action figures.
I think we already know which one is better and which one is gonna win.
Alright,
and that is obviously Marvel Legends.
We're gonna go with the pros and the cons first. Pops are cheaper. I'm not joking. Like, how much do you pay for a Marvel Legend usually?
$20, but you could find them for cheap.
Okay. They're difficult to find for cheap, though.
Okay.
They're also...
Okay, Jen. Which one has a better movie-accurate design?
Well, I'm going to get into that.
Exactly. Which one is worth the price?
I know, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. So, Marvel Legends, they cost like $20, and if they come with accessories or other things, they get more and more expensive. And if they're if they're a special line like the Marvel Studios the first 10 years, they're extremely overpriced. The Infinity War set was just 3 action figures. It should have been like $50. They charged you $70 or not? No, not $70.
$120.
$80 actually.
No, now it's $120.
Well, now that's the value of it now, but before when they were...
For 3 freaking figures.
I know. So I pay at the most... Keep in mind, I buy most of my Pops on Amazon. And they are $10, sometimes under. And they're very easy to get on clearance. I can go into GameStop. They have all kinds of ones on clearance. There are ones that do get expensive, and they go up in value. Like, I know that the Steve Pop from Stranger Things just released for Baskin-Robbins. Now, this is not Funko's doing. This is Baskin-Robbins doing, where they're jacking up the price. But for the most part, you can get Pops pretty cheap. I went to Hot Topic. I bought about 5 of them, $2 each.
Okay, wait. I just want to say, Marvel Legends are expensive, but, like... They're way more movie accurate. My biggest hate message against Funko Pop figures is I do not like their design. Their head is too big, their body is too small. Their eyes are too big, and they're just black, and there's no freaking mouth, and it looks retarded.
Well,
that's probably why they're so cheap.
Well, the reason that they're...
action figures are harder to make.
Well, that's true, but... here's the thing about Pops.
They're harder to move, and some of the little hands and some of the feet are broken, but they're harder to make. And they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard the gripe many times, what you're saying. I've heard that gripe many times, and what I think a lot of people forget is that these are stylized figures. They're not supposed to be movie accurate. They're not supposed to look exactly like the character. They're not supposed
No. I know they're not. I get that that's their design, but I hate their design.
Exactly. That's why you don't own Pops. But that doesn't mean they're not well-designed figures, because they are pretty well-designed. I'm not saying every Pop is well-designed. They came out, I think, I don't know. I'm going to go over the story here at Funko. Funko was a company that started in the 90s, and they were making bobbleheads called Wacky Wobblers, and they had original designs, but they mostly survived off to buying licenses of characters. They came out with the line of Pop, and it started taking off. And the designs were very bad. Like, they had the same... If they made a Batman figure, they're all the same. They all look exactly the same. They all have the same proportions. There's no difference. They may be a different version of Batman, but it looks exactly the same. Same thing with Superman. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Whatever character they made. And they didn't have very many licenses. And the Pops look like trash. I cannot go back...
Oh, I definitely agree. Even now.
I think, I don't know. Have you seen those older Pop designs? You should go back and look at them, because they're pretty bad. Funko has gotten into making a lot more detailed figures. They add things to them. Like, if a year ago, they would not have made Wrecking Ball from Overwatch. And if they did, he wouldn't be able to come out of his ball. And they when they made pop rides, they would like come out of it, and the figures just look like crap. Now they have more detail. They look a little bit more accurate, and like the He-Man figure was pretty crap. But now they made a new one where he's holding his axe, his shield, all this detail, and he's armored up. That's something they wouldn't have made a decade ago. And that's why. And it does suck for collectors in the sense though, because when they got better, those older figures that were super expensive that people had went down tremendously. That's why I think flipping anything is not a substantial business, and you shouldn't do it. Because now when you ruin enjoyment for other people, and you're just flipping something that's just going to eventually lose value. So you bought this figure for $200. Well, that's great. It's not $200 worth anymore. So it's kind of a strange thing. It's kind of a strange situation. But I do think you're right. Marvel Legends are movie accurate. But they're expensive. They're harder to collect. Because when you want to get a bunch of them, let's say...
Pops are hard to collect too.
No, they're not.
There are some... I mean, I know stores have, like GameStop have, like, bulk amounts of figures, but they don't always have the one you want.
Yeah, I know. But there's multiple stores. Marvel Legends are only sold at, like, Target, Walmart, GameStop, a few other places. But they're not sold everywhere on the planet. And same thing with other action figures. Now... I shouldn't.
Pops aren't sold everywhere.
They are sold. They're sold at Michael's. They're sold at Walgreens and stuff like that. They're sold all over the place. Action figures are harder to collect because stores are getting less of them, and Pops they're getting a lot more of them. Target, if you notice, there's a whole section for the toys, and there's not that many Marvel Legends. But then there's a whole section for Funko items. Huge section. And NECA figures look more like the movie too, but those are harder to pose. Same thing with Marvel Legends. They're harder to pose. If you want to have a Spider-Man...
Marvel Legends are not hard to pose, but like...
But they're not easy to just set on a shelf. You have to sit there, pose them in the way you want them. They don't stand up all the time.
If you're not good at posing them, you got to be good at posing them.
Well, also, but they still are not the greatest to pose. And it's...
action figures easy to pose.
And action figures also are more likely to have sloppy paint jobs. Because they have to produce a lot more of them. And so since they produce a lot more of them, that means that they come from a factory. And the factory just doesn't give them...
Okay, but Jen, so let's talk about like Star Wars action figures. So, there are Star Wars action figure sets where I've heard this from many people, but some people will buy two of the same figure. They don't come with extra sets like the Red Skull in Marvel Legends. It comes with multiple heads. If you buy multiple of them, you could just change the heads. Yeah. Star Wars figures, you have to buy each figure, and if you want like the certain variant, I've heard people have painted them, and they're like, yeah. So.
Well, they make Star Wars figures harder to collect too, because the stores aren't getting the shipments anymore, because nobody's buying action figures. A lot of people are buying pups. It's the new thing.
A lot of people steal action figures.
It's a huge trend, and I don't think a lot of people...
I haven't heard anything about Funko.
Well, when people say... well, here's the thing about Funko. When people say, oh, they're going to go the way of the Beanie Babies, that argument makes absolutely no sense.
Oh, I agree with them.
No.
I see it going with the Beanie Babies.
Okay, well, okay, well, here's the thing about Beanie Babies. The company came in and said one day, your figures are worth nothing, because they're just going to produce a lot more. Because there was a character, Humphrey, that was in this guide book. And that character, there was only like a few of them in the world. But then they started producing more and new variants of them. So they all dropped in value. And then so they weren't worth anything. So people weren't rushing out to collect them anymore. But what people forget is those characters weren't based on anything. All these characters are based on things. Okay? Think about Trix Rabbit. Trix Rabbit has been around forever. He's a super popular cereal icon. He's been on cereal boxes, I think, since the 40s or 50s or 60s, something like that. He's been around a really long time. They're making a pop out of him. Well, they did.
Yeah, I was going to say
they
did.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it, right? That's a popular character. That's always going to be popular. Maybe like obviously The Walking Dead, like let's say The Walking Dead. Okay, The Walking Dead, yes, has gone down in popularity. But that's still going to be something that has fans and is going to be popular. So they aren't going to go the way of the Beanie Babies because they're based on stuff. They're based on popular characters. Maybe people will start collecting less because it just becomes too big of a community and stuff like that. I've heard people quit because of how big the community is. I've heard that. And yeah, there are pops that are really hard to get. Like, there's some pops that they only make a few of. But if you're like GameStop, they pre-order them. Hot Topic, they get a pretty decent amount. And I think the only time that they're really hard to collect is when they're from companies that aren't used to getting pops. And that's okay, because that doesn't happen that often, so it's okay. And I think, yes, Marvel Legends are more movie accurate or more comic book accurate. Same thing with all action figures. But not always. Funko makes action figures. And they make these DC Primal Age action figures. Now, we've seen those in the store. You know, the barbarian-looking Batman.
Yeah.
That figure...
Oh, that's horrible. I hate those.
Those are stylized figures. So they're supposed to look like He-Man and stuff.
No, I get that companies have styles like that. I just hate all of their styles because they look stupid.
Yeah, if you like it does depend on whether you like the style. Personally, I'm okay with the style. But what I'm saying is, those styles are stylized action figures that don't look movie accurate. Those aren't even based on a movie. Funko has made some pretty good action figures where they've done that. Like, if you've seen the Thundercats ones, those ones look exactly like the characters. The other ones that don't, there's a few that don't. They make the Disney Afternoon figures. Those look exactly like the characters. And those aren't stylized in any way. They actually look like the characters. Statues are another thing. Those are expensive to collect too, and they look more accurate. So it all depends on your preference here. Because if you like action figures, as someone who collects both, I think both have their pros and cons. I'm less likely to go out and buy an action figure than I am to buy a pop, because I can find a pop for cheap. I can go out and get a bunch of them for cheap. I can find a bunch of Brady Bunch pops at GameStop for $5. $5. That's a good deal. I go out, I pay for it, end of story. It's good deals. And I have a bunch of pops because I've been able to go out and get them for a lot of money. I have a crap ton of figures. And they're expensive. I have expensive... Not all my figures are super expensive, but I have some that are worth more value. I bought a plush from Funko for $7 at Hot Topic. It was Ahsoka from Star Wars The Clone Wars. The value was $19. So I'm just saying, these Marvel Legends are expensive. They're hard to get. No one can find them because stores aren't getting the shipments. They're more likely to have loose joints or something wrong with them. Funko Pops are easy that you can just set on a shelf. You can have a bunch of them. You can collect them over and over again. You can get them. Also, most action figures, they have action figures based on entirely, like they have a line of Star Wars and Marvel, right? And Overwatch, that's what Hasbro does. They have a bunch of figures, but they have them all in different lines. Pops are all the same line of figures. They all kind of look similar, and you can set them on a shelf next to each other, and it doesn't look that bad. It looks fantastic. There's a lot of... You can put all your figures on the same shelf and they wouldn't bat an eye. If I put a Tony Stark Marvel Legend next to an Overwatch figure, they're made by the same company and it just does not work. It looks bizarre when you do that. And you know, I think that's the pro of Pops. Also, they have more licenses that other companies don't have. Like, they have Saga, which is one of my favorite comic books. But that Pop line is not an action figure line. It's not... There is no company like that. There are a lot of Pops, yes. And then you can get them more... and keep in mind, Funko doesn't just take a line and only make Pops out of them. They make action figures. They make plushies. They make pocket pops, which are like keychains. They make like clothing and things like that. They make backpacks, things like that. They make all kinds of stuff out of the lines. Funko is just a better brand to collect than just action figures.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I say that because you can get a lot more, a lot cheaper, and it's a huge group of stuff.
You know, I think I just don't like Funko, one, because of their style, and two, because they just like use so many characters. I wish like they don't really make. I mean, I'm not trying to be hateful or anything, but like they don't really make original stuff. But I mean, I get what they're doing because they go and get brands and they like make their stuff.
Well, no action figure company really makes original stuff anymore. No company when it comes to toys. It has to be based on something. They used to make original toy lines and have TV shows to go along with them in the 80s. That doesn't work anymore.
Okay, yeah, I do see what you mean.
And then, and then Funko does make original characters. Freddy Funko is their mascot that they created. They have a whole line of figures called They have a whole line of figures.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
They have a whole line of figures called the Splash. I think it's Plastic, something like that. They're all original design characters that they made bobbleheads of. They made them into pops and stuff. And yeah, there's a whole group of figures. They do make original stuff. And you know, at the end of the day, you can collect a crap ton of pops and for really cheap, or you can get select Marvel Legends, and it's kind of harder to collect than pops.
Yeah, because like for the price of what is it, like I would say 5 Marvel Legends, you could buy 10 pops.
I think maybe even 6.
What do you mean?
I mean, like maybe.
Well, for the price of like 6 Marvel Legends, you could get like 10 to 12 pops.
No, that's cool.
I mean, and you could probably, and brand new too, because Marvel Legends are 20 each if you're getting them singular. If you're getting them $20
and then they charge more if you get them together.
Oh yeah, if you get like 2.
There's a few Walmart exclusive Marvel Legends that came out for Endgame, and they've been selling out nonstop, and they haven't been around.
Actually, the new Quantum Realm suits, I have Ant-Man in his Quantum Realm. I got that custom made, and then I also have Captain America in his Quantum Realm, which was like with a shield and stuff. But anyways, those figures in the Quantum Realm suit, the body for the Quantum Realm suit does not move good at all. It is loose and it does not move, and it's very hard to stand because it's so loose, and it's just not that greatly made.
I also have a problem when you have to, with action figures personally, where you have to sit there, you have to pose them, you have to set them up, and
I don't have that problem.
Well, they fall over. Your action figures fall over a lot. I mean, I'm just saying they do, and you have to reset them up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like it's just because I move too much, and I feel like because a bunch of my figures last night fell, and I feel like I must have sleep talked or something, and I said something really loud, and it all fell over. Because I fell asleep a lot yesterday. And I was talking a lot, and like my mom was saying crap, but like I was talking in my sleep for some reason. Like my mom came to my room yesterday, and I said, "A great experience," and she asked something again. I said, "A great experience." For some reason, I yelled that, and like maybe I was just saying stuff in my sleep, and I knocked some stuff over.
I don't know, but you know, I'm just saying the pops, you can set a bunch of them up, and they're not going to fall over. And if Funko's also gotten a lot better, where they used to have figures that didn't stand so well. Now they come with stands and stuff, so it's been pretty good. So I think they both have their pros and their cons. I just think the problem with Funko is you have to be a fan of the designs. And a lot of people aren't, and they think they look like crap. They think they look cheap. But I think the majority of people like them, though. It's something where I would equate to Minions, where they're not the greatest, and people hate them. And I hate Minions, believe me, but I get why people like them. They are cute, and they're just cute little things that are harmless. That's what a pop is. But I do think.
Okay, I do. Wait. I do have a pro on Marvel Legends that does defeat a Funko in a way. Not like overall defeat him, but first of all, you can't move a Funko Pop. I mean, you can, but I mean, you can't move its arms and legs. And for action figures, you can hang them from fishing line from your string and have them flying, and you can
pose them and make them look really cool. Funko, they're still, and you set them down and they just sit there.
Well,
These figures you can move and play with.
yeah, but here's the thing about Pops, though. All those poses that you would do with an action figure, they make those into multiple Pops. So, like, if you're like that Captain America right there, you got with that shield like that, they're probably gonna make that into a Pop one day. They made a Wonder Woman holding her shield. They made a Wonder Woman like this. Wonder
Okay,
Woman
but
like that.
but you can't move it into that though.
No, but they make Pops in that pose though.
That would be like me having 2 Captain Americas, and like you don't need 2.
Well, I mean,
You
if
can
you're
just-
a fan of the character, you're gonna have some variants, different versions. That's what I do. I collect multiple.
But you can move them too, and it would be even cooler to move them.
Yeah,
For what, $10 more?
yeah. I think that's a personal preference thing, though, because
Yeah.
because Pops shouldn't. Because I think some Pops.
I definitely prefer to be able to move them.
I don't think most people care about that, have any concern for that. I think at the end of the day, they both have their pros and cons. But I think Funko is the better alternative for the majority of people. I think but for some people who aren't fans, it's just fine. You know, 'cause
No, and like I know a lot of people who collect Funko, and I get that it's like for a collection, and because they like those movies and they like those characters, so they buy them. And I get that it's just trying to, the Funko Pop figures just trying to represent the character, and like it's not supposed to be movie accurate, and it's just supposed to represent. But like it's just not for me because I don't like their design. But same with like South Park. I know this is a little off topic, but I don't like their animation style or their figures because I mean they both look the same basically, but because they're done with paper and crap.
Well,
But
the reason South Park's supposed to look intentionally bad though.
I mean, not like that though. I don't know. I just don't think it looks that great. I don't know what it like. I know it's just a different bad.
Well, it's
for me.
supposed to look bad though. That's the point of it. So
I don't know. It's a different bad though that I feel like for me. I just don't like the way they animate it and crap. I don't know. I don't like the way they make that.
But South Park's genius, so get over it.
Shut up.
Not anymore, but they used to be. Now they're now every episode's dated after it comes out. It's true though. They talk
Yeah.
they talk like so many different issues now, and it's like super dated and it's lame. It used to be super funny. That's what
Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of fans. I don't watch South Park, but that's what I hear from a lot of fans. And I've seen a few episodes on TV on accident. Well, like I had like a friend who was like, I walked into his room and he was like watching it. Here, come watch me with it. So I watched the episode about 10 minutes and it was bad. Like it was, blah.
Oh, was it bad?
Cause like they kept talking about this issue that was like 6 months old at this point. But yeah, so that's the end of our argument here. We're gonna end it off here.
Yeah, I agree.
But don't you collect your Funko Pop?
Shut up. Anyways, this is it for the day. Like, subscribe. Thanks for everything. And
More
this is the
podcast
end.
on the way. Jurassic Park episode coming soon.
I know we keep on saying Lion King, Jurassic Park. We keep on saying this kind of crap is gonna come out, but we keep on making another podcast about this random stuff.
That's why the exact next one will be Jurassic Park, no matter what.
No, don't say that. That's what we said last
You
time.
can come to our house and kill us if that does not happen.
Okay, anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and thank you for everything. And I would say,
I prefer to be killed by drowning in the pool.
stay lit. What do you want to say? Anything?
That's it.
Okay.
Wait, how do you prefer to die?
I don't know. Probably get shot in the head.
Okay.
Okay, stay lit. Is that it? You
All right.
understand it?
Yep, let's end it off here.
Bye, guys. Stay lit. Oh my gosh, shut up. Okay, stay lit. Bye, guys.